figured out my very silly error, and that was actually in the file read part. I hopes that you guys spotted it. I just appended everything to the 2D array. What I didn't tell it was that to actually split it on the comma character, which is why it was only printing the first initial for each part. So I just did a little test. So I need to go back and add the split part in to the read athletes function. There was nothing wrong with main, which means now when we come back to where we were previously, where this was printing out one character, if I print out position I0 now, we should get the names of the competitors. Now I don't want to print that. What I want to do is I want to have the file to dot write athlete data 10, so we can see no outputs in the terminal, but the CSV file has all of them on the one line. What we also want to do is print out that comma to separate them up, so in case we want to read this file back in, and the reason I got that little error is we need to concatenate the string there, so it has a plus. So now you see hopefully the comma appearing between them, and then obviously the new line character has to be added also, but we've still got a little bit to write first of all. So we need to work out the total. So the total, we could use a loop for this if we weren't trying to reset it. So what we'll do is I'll set the total equal to 0 in here because it's a temporary one. We don't have to declare this here. So I'll remove it from there. And then set the total is equal to athlete data. Now we're going to use position I. But if we look back at the athletes, we have 0, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the events. So we've got +1. And if we cheat a little, for the different ones, we could have 4, 3, and 2. Now we could have used a loop for that, but it's not really important. Now let's just test what's printed out there. So if this is going to work correctly, for the first one we're looking for 10, 12, 16 outputted for the first one. So if we run that, obviously it's printing the totals. Now I'm glad this error has happened. That's because it's a string. It thinks these are all strings right now. So what we need to do is convert them to integers using the casting predefined function, which will take that string and return it as an integer, because everything that's stored so far is a string. Now this time, if it's working, it should output 16 and 20, 13 and 14, so that means the position third person is going to win when we check it later. So rather than having it printed out now, let's do file.write. We have the comma there, so we're writing the total, but we also want to follow that up with the \n character, so that we print a new line each time. Now this actually might cause an error, yeah. It's because I've got the plus here, we want comma because total is an integer. So we need to use the comma to get that to attach. Now what's the issue here? \n type error right takes one argument. It may be easiest if we convert that back to a string. Let's see if this works this time. Perfect. Now where we have this \n is probably not the best place to have it, because it's giving us a sixth person in the CSV that's not actually there, but it's not an issue. We'll just have a blank name and we can look at that another time to see how we might go about fixing that. So now we've got the totals and we've got to not to forget to return, or rather we need to figure out how we're going to return that data, because we've calculated the totals but we haven't actually stored it yet. So in our athlete data, position I, hopefully know that position 6 we can set equal to that total. Now let's just see if this causes any errors, and I'll pause the video after that to see if you're able to fix it. So you can see list assignment index is out of range because when we declared the array we didn't put a 6th piece on there. So are there other ways around it? Let's see how this part got around it here. This part allowed us to append to the particular place. So let's see if we can manipulate it and change this way and use athlete data I dot append the total, and let's see if this works this time with no errors. So it seemed to work there. Total points, it looks okay. Athletes obviously unaltered, but the way we can test this out is to print athlete data position I, which will be the current person, 6, and what we should be seeing is the totals for each person displaying here, which is fine. So we can remove that from there. Now if we do that in here, test print, and these are the things in your exam coursework rather that you should be saying are your tests or for ongoing tests. This will not work because obviously I is not there, so we'll go for the first person, and it won't allow us because that athlete data, and obviously because I keep spelling it differently, so be careful. Try and just stick to the one spelling of this. No, it's not that, sorry. Athlete data. Let's see the error we get. Now I was expecting an error because we haven't actually returned it here. So after we've looked through all of those, we then want to return athlete data, which means this parameter gets it back, and we have athlete data 06 being returned. So let's see if we get that printed out. There we go, perfect. 16, which is if we check the 0 index person, is 16 points. So everything's working perfectly. I will just erase that. You could comment it out and leave it in your coursework, which is actually a good indicator of showing that you've been doing some ongoing testing. So we now have storing the details, calculating, storing the totals. We have written the names and total scores to a new file, but I don't think we closed that file, did we? No. So what we have to do before we return that data and after the loop is just good programming habits, file.close, because if you ever want to read from that file again and there's an open connection to it, it can cause issues. And moving on to the final piece now, or the second last piece rather, is to write the name of the winner just as a print line. So let's do display winner. Now we want to do this as a function because it keeps the main part nice and clear. Now it's just going to be a procedure, there's no return value. So we'll call my function display winner, and it needs the athlete data. Now I've got to be careful with that spelling because it's called athlete data here. I think I may have misspelled it in other places, yeah, up here for example. So just be careful that your spelling's matching up. Okay, undefined variable is just because I haven't actually created that display winner yet. So def display winner, athlete data is the parameter. So obviously the person with the lowest score wins. So I'm going to set min pos equal to 0. And for all competitors into the array of records, so for I in range 0 to the length of athlete data. Let's say if current total score is greater than min pause score, then so if athlete data at I, which is the whole, that's an array itself, at position 6 is less than athlete data again at position I, but the minimum position this time, then set min pause to current pause. So min pause equals I, because I is the current. Outside of that loop, now min pause is pointing to the person who wins. So send winner and total point to display. Now we don't want it in the file, so we can just do print. The winner is plus athlete data at min pause position, but that's again going to print the full array. You want position 0 because that's the names, plus with a total score of plus athlete data at position min pause again, position 6 is keeping track of the total points. So now you can see that little, I think there was a typo there on the min pause equals I part, it typed if. Hopefully now when we run it, we're going to get the issues that we're getting previously. Now this is good that these are happening because these are likely to happen in coursework, and that is because the things that's stored in the 2D array are strings, and we can't do less than or greater than on a full string. We could convert it to its ASCII value and do them one at a time. Let's see, so what problem have we got here? Value invalid with base colon. If I6 I min pause, what's the issue here? Position 6. Okay, I'm going to pause this again because it's so close to you guys coming into the lesson and figure out this little error. See if you can spot it yourself, that would be awesome. I can't see it just quickly when I have to do a few little tests. 55 if int is less than int at min pause. Base 10 common. Okay, I'm going to pause it and figure this out, so we'll have that in the next part. See if you can figure it out, because it'll be a silly little error that I have.